Hey YouTube, what up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I got another PSA. And I know you guys are like, will you stop with these PSAs? But I gotta keep putting them out here, you know. They've just been sort of popping into my mind lately. So, this is why we're here, okay? But my PSA for today is stop saying the phrase white supremacy. Okay? And some of you may be thinking, wait a minute, what? Where are you coming from with that? All right, let me explain. Hear me out for a moment. All right? Instead of saying the phrase white supremacy, say the phrase the system of white supremacy. Right? And I kind of had, I learned about this recently too. Shout out to Lashid for you. I, was listening to one of her live streams and whatnot, and I was like, you know what, that kind of makes sense. I should, incorporate that phrase into my vocabulary. And the reason is because, well, when you say white supremacy, it seems like, well, white is supreme, right? It's kind of just saying like, oh, it is so much better, right? It's almost like you're saying you believe in it, right? Versus if you say the system of white supremacy, you're acknowledging that you do know that it is something that is real, but the thing is, it's a system that was put in place, right? It's not just, oh, that's just, the natural order of things, right? So, I'm not saying that you should not acknowledge the system of white supremacy. Definitely not. That definitely needs to be acknowledged and called out any and every time that it is in effect, it is in play. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we just need to call it for what it is, right? We need to call it the system of white supremacy and not white supremacy, because when we call it white supremacy, it's like we're low-key buying into white supremacy, right? And we know that white supremacy itself isn't true, right? It's not a fact, right? Because we all know that white folks do not excel 100% at anything. Like, that would just be saying every single white person excels more than, every other group of people. And that, of course, we know that's not true. But there is a system in place to to help foster and promote that outcome, right? That's why they had to put this system in place, so that they could feel as if they are supreme. Because they know, like, the thing is, if you are supreme, you wouldn't need to put in a system in place, right? Your supremacy would just play out on its own. If you think about it for a moment, right? Think about it. Let's compare our, the human race, just human beings in general, to, say, ants, right? We're not worried about ants taking over anything, right? So we don't really put in a system in place that really addresses ants and our supremacy, right? We're not saying, oh, ants can't work here. Ants can't drink from this water fountain. Ants can't vote. Right? We're not doing those sort of things because we know that ants aren't really a threat to us, right? But when it comes to white people in their idea of, you know, them being under the illusion of white supremacy, in order for them to maintain that illusion for themselves, they do have to put these things into place, and you know, into the system. They have to create this system, right? Because if they truly were supreme, then their supremacy would just play out naturally, right? There would be no need to, you know, try to say, oh, these people can't attend this school, right? Or these people can't work here, or and so many other things. You know, we all know the examples, right? Yeah. And as well, I think white people, at least the smart ones, know that it would be in their best interest not to think that they are supreme, right? Although they may still hold on to those ideas, though. Especially if they don't really have much else going for them. You notice, like, the most overtly racist white folks tend to be the more lower class white people. Not saying that the upper class aren't racist, but they're not so much overtly racist, right? They're more, more strategic and covert with it, right? And I think part of the reason why you see that is because, well, the lower class white people don't really have much. And, low key, they're thinking that they're supreme because they've been fed this lie, right? They've been fed the lie. And when they start looking at society, they start feeling some type of a way. That's why they be clinging to, guns, religion, and something else, I think. I don't know. And on the other hand, well, on the other end of the spectrum, I'll say, the more upper class, more accomplished white people, while they still may hold those ideas and beliefs to an extent, at least, you don't see them openly clinging to them as much, right? Because they feel like they're in a position where they don't necessarily need white supremacy, right? Because they do kind of like have a skill or a talent, and have some type of a resume or accomplishments, besides just being born white, right? Right. And also another thing, it may be a slightly off topic, but I'll just go ahead and throw this in. Sometimes you will see, if you ever interacted with a white person before, extensively, whether it be, perhaps a friendship, or, a coworker, perhaps a friend of a friend, some type of prolonged interaction, right? You may notice, depending on the situation, you may sometimes even sense and hear low-key white supremacist leanings if you really stop and listen to what they're saying. I know within my personal experience, I have experienced that, but I experienced it when I was, like, quote unquote sleep, not woke, right? So they kind of didn't register at the time, but looking back on it, I was like, it's like warning signs, but not. I couldn't pick up on the warning signs because I just wasn't there when it came to my, consciousness, so to speak. But basically, where I'm coming from is, like, if you are a black person who has like an exceptional talent or skill, or really accomplished in comparison to the white person you're dealing with, they will tend to feel some type of way about that, low key. They'll be a little low key about it. They won't just come right out and say it, but they'll feel some type of way about that though. And over time in your interaction with them, it'll sort of come out. It'll come out one way or another, right? I'm not saying this is for every single white person in the whole wide universe. Okay, I don't know, but I'm saying this is a pattern though, right? So, perhaps have a lot of money, you know, um, drive a certain car, a certain model car, have a nice house, especially when they start comparing themselves to you, and because again they've been fed the lie of white supremacy, and in their mind they're thinking like they're up here and you're down here, so why do you have all this and they have a little bit of this, right? But I'll bring this video to a close. This is just my PSA for today. I hope you got something from it, and thanks for watching. Leave me a comment in the comment section, and until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.